I'm here with Bob Prince. He has started something called the Storm Ready store in Chicopee. You know, we get warnings all the time. There's bad weather coming. We know the natural disasters and man-made disasters can hit any time. But are any of us really ready? Bob Prince, you say that's something we don't think about, but we should think about on a regular basis.
Absolutely. You know, I use the a store analogy. I ask people, when does Home Depot sell out of snowblowers? After the snowstorm. And that's what we're trying to prevent, is waiting till it happens, because once it happens, it's too late.
Well, let's talk about it. You've brought now, all of this came in a reasonable, what I'd call an overnight duffel bag.
Right, I carried it in.
You've got a lot of stuff here, things that you say really we should have in our home, because you never know. Let me ask you about now, right here we've got some foodstuffs. That's noodles, stroganoff, beef stroganoff and noodles. You've got a vegetable, chicken soup mix. These are, I think, energy bars.
Well, they're calorie bars, right, to keep you going. These, for instance, this is a 3,600 calorie food bar. It breaks down into 9 400 calorie bars. And these are for emergencies. Let's say we did have to, for some reason, leave. You know, we had to leave. Well, you want to keep driving. You don't want to have to stop and eat. This is where these things come into play. There's no preparing. It just open and eat.
Go ahead. And you say, I'm sorry, but you say the thing is, we don't think about the fact that most of us, at most, maybe have 3 days supply of food in our house. Bad storm hits.
Zero water, even worse.
The tap goes dry. Most of us are up the creek.
Exactly.
I'm not trying to be funny, huh?
And that's what we at Storm Ready. That's what I try to do. And as a matter of fact, I do seminars, free seminars to the public to educate them into this. This is important. We have unprecedented amount of weather events in the last handful of years, and we have them even as we're speaking now. Across the nation, California alone still has wildfires at this time of year. It's really getting. The weather's not as friendly as it once was, and we have to take this into account.
Let me ask you about now. Here is a hand-cranked or solar-powered, dynamo and solar-powered radio. This is a very specialized antenna rolled up in here. What's the importance of having this?
Well, what's the first thing that's going to happen during a major weather event? Electricity's going out, power outage. Your house gets very quiet if you remember October 2011, and one thing that we crave, we are now an information society. We have to know what's going on. And if you don't have that radio that has an independent power source built within itself, you're not going to know what's going on. The more accurate the information, the more you can put your mind at ease. You'll know, for instance, if it's going to be a week or 10 days or less before outside agencies have come into the area to help us. It's a real good mindset. It keeps you calm. And without it, like I said, you're subject to rumor control, and that's not good.
Let me ask you now, your background is in the military.
Absolutely.
You served with, was it 82nd Airborne?
I served in the U.S. Army 82nd Airborne Division.
Okay, so you've seen some stuff. You've been out there a few times. We'll leave
more
it at
than
that.
Once.
But you got something, now you know about these. I've had the pleasure of eating these a couple times when as a reporter I went out on maneuvers up at Camp Drummond, New York. Not quite the same as what you went through with the 82nd, but MRE, meal ready to eat. You say we should have these in our homes.
Well, you know what, MREs are great. They have about a 7-year shelf life, but the problem is nowadays is MREs are expensive. That meal alone is $10. You're not going to find them less than $10. Now let's do the math real quick. 4 people, say you have 4 people in your family, 1 day's worth of MREs will cost you $120. A lot of money for the average person. We can take our dollars and better put them here. But if money's not a problem, absolutely MREs are fantastic.
Okay, I want to ask you about, now here's something, we see these in the hardware store, and I think most of us walk by and say, man, that is some kind of flashlight. I don't need anything like that. And,
well, you do.
You say, go ahead.
Well, let's see, at Storm Ready, we don't reinvent the wheel. We go with what works. Every police officer in America has what's called a mag light. That black flashlight that you'll see a police officer using, it's that one. It's a mag light. It doesn't break. It's durable. Like I said, we don't reinvent the wheel. We stick with what works.
Let me ask you about, now I've got what I think of as a kind of a standard fireman's axe here, and you say, but this is critical.
Right, absolutely. I got this. I went on a search after Katrina. During the aftermath reporting, listening to the news reports, they found a lot of people in their attics, and it did not work well for them. For whatever reason, they decided not to leave. Water came in, they migrated up their house until they got into the attic, and they became trapped. They couldn't get out. So I found that, that's my fellow Americans. I don't like to see that stuff. So I said, I got to find something to help remedy that. And I went on a search, and it took me a couple of years to find that product. So that's a great breakout and foraging tool. And you don't have to be a big hulking fireman with training to use it. I teach people how to use it. It's simple. You don't have to be really strong. Just enough to pick a hole into this roof through the attic, and then that thing in your hat, you can turn it on with the...
Okay, I don't want to aim it at the camera.
No, but it's a strobe light. Now, you're going to have, in any disaster of any significant size, you're going to have helicopter presence after 24, 48 hours. If you so happen to become trapped in your attic, or even in your house, you can get up to the attic and break a small hole in. You can put that out there. You will be found. It's a rescue device, and it goes in tandem with the axe.
And not to belabor the point, you touched on it and very gracefully moved away from it, but there were horror stories after Katrina.
I don't like,
of folks that went up in attics.
Right. It didn't end well for me.
Yeah.
Dying of exposure is not pleasant. It's not a pleasant experience. And, my heart went out when I heard that, and I said, again, I'm going to find something that at least remedy that.
Let me hand you this. This is, you explained this to me a couple months ago. Okay, that is a really cool implement.
Right. This is called a life straw. You take both ends off. And what this is a water purification device, and it's very man-portable, and it's not that expensive, about $30. This will purify 800 liters of water. You can drink 2 liters a day out of it. It's good for a year once you start to use it. What it does is essentially it's a very fine mesh. It's a system to filter one layer after the other, and it will filter out 99.9% of bacteria out of water, making it drinkable. And again, it's very man-portable.
And that's one of the things, anytime, I can think of it a few times around here when they thought we had a bad storm coming in, they'd say, folks, go and fill your bathtub. And I know my first reaction was, ew, I know the soap and the gunk that's in that bathtub. I don't think I want to do that.
No,
but the water goes quick, right?
Yes. Water main breaks, like we were talking, people don't realize there are 700 water main breaks daily in our nation. That's just unbelievable. 700 a day. In the last several months, we've seen it in Boston, Chicopee, South Deerfield, and then just the other day, and I believe it was Long Meadow. These things break for no reason. Well, when they break now, usually it's one section. But what if there was a seismic event? People don't realize there's what's called, I believe it's the Ramapo fault line. I may be saying it incorrectly, but it goes Pennsylvania all the way up to New York City. Between us and them is a lot of bedrock, and that transfers seismic events wonderfully. Sand absorbs, rock transfers. So if that happens, what's going to happen to our crumbling water structure that breaks for no reason if you throw a seismic event? You're not going to worry about replacing a couple lengths of pipe. We may have hundreds of miles of pipe that has to be replaced, and who knows how long that's going to take. That's why it's so very important to store water, and not water bottles. They are not made for long-term storage. They are not made for it. What you have to do is get a standard 55-gallon water barrel that's FDA approved. There's where you store your water in, and it's relatively inexpensive.
Well, Bob Prince from Storm Ready in Chicopee, thanks for coming and spending some time with us, sir.
Great, thank you.